The fourth round of the BTRDA Rally Series would head north to God's own country, the fast, tricky stages of the Trackrod Rally in Yorkshire. And with our main protagonists in the Gold Star here to fight out for those championship points, it was set to be another great battle on the stages. From the seafront of Filey to the forests of North Yorkshire, straight onto those stages, it would be the early lead for Gary Pearson and Niall Burns, opening up a small yet crucial advantage at this early stage of 3 seconds after the morning's first few stages. Second place at this stage in the rally would be Ian Bainbridge and Will Atkins. They were going well, and this being their local event in the calendar for Ian at least, it was clear from the first stage that they had a victory and perhaps a bit of home advantage in their sights. Rounding out our podium positions now would be Callum Black and Jack Morton. Disappointment last time out when they retired with broken steering meant that they had fire in their bellies. They needed to get some points back on the board here. The top 3 only separated by a handful of seconds as they went into the afternoon stages. Elliot Payne had enjoyed a good season so far in the Fiesta. He'd been impressing. This time he had Patrick Walsh alongside for company, and things were going well for the pair. They end the morning 4th overall in the Gold Star, just a single second behind Black. For Tom Llewellyn and Ross Whittock, it would be 5th place. The pair's first time on these stages in the R5 car, and those corners do come up a lot quicker when you're in a car like this. Thankfully, they were having a good clean run so far and getting around them. First of our B13 class runners so far this weekend will be Richard Hill and Patrick Cooper. They were posting some good times on the overall leaderboard as well as in the class. They had 10 seconds of a lead as well in the class at this stage, which wasn't comfortable, but it would help with their confidence through the afternoon stages. Chasing Hill and Cooper down for that class lead though was this man, Russ Thompson. Jane Nicol this time in the co-driver's seat for this weekend. They had some time to make up to advance on that class lead, but you could bet your bottom dollar they'd be trying, so there'd be no backing off. And rounding out our podium positions in the B13 class at this stage would be George Lepley and Tom Woodburn. Another to impress so far this year, the high speed of the car working well for them last time out on the Woodpecker stages, and this weekend would have its fair share of long straights here in the Yorkshire forests as well. The problems would come when they needed to slow that big, heavy Evo down for the tight chicanes and corners. 8th overall for now, 2 seconds back from Thompson in the class. Clearly, they were slowing it down just fine. Phil and Simon Pickard would be out in a new car this weekend, switching to Fiesta power. So they'd be making sure that they got used to it before they gave it 100%. But even without full send and the seat time, the pair were going well, lying in 9th overall, just 5 seconds back from Lepley. Rounding out the top 10 at this stage were Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere. The pair didn't make it to the second stage of the day on the previous round, so they'd be happy just to still be in the fight. And they were in the fight as well, clearly trying a little too hard in places. With a good number of our crews from the NR4 class switching to B13 this year, it would leave Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence as the only ones in that class. So they were concentrating on the overall leaderboard instead. They were having some issues though. A gear linkage breaking, leaving them stuck in 3rd. There'd be some temporary repairs to get them back to service and fix it, but the damage to the times had already been done. Good job, they were the only ones in the class. So with the morning complete and some tricky stages done with, here's a reminder of that overall leaderboard so far in the Gold Star category here on the Trackrod Rally. We're into the afternoon stages then, and there'd be no change for Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence in the class, as you might have expected. They do, though, manage 11th place overall. Those issues with the gearbox had, of course, slowed them down. Temporary repairs had put them within 1 minute of going OTL. But thankfully, they avoid disqualification and get through the rally to take some valuable points towards their championship tally. There'd be a few changes to report in the top 10, including our 10th place sitters. Ian Joel and Graham Wood, bringing that glorious Escort Cosworth kicking, screaming and popping into the top of our results through the afternoon stages. Hugh Brunson and Drew Sturrock would be another crew climbing the right way on the leaderboard as well. They step up to 9th in their Fiesta. There'd be a finish, and with it, smiles for Matthew Hurst and Declan Deer. They get to the end of the rally, still pushing that Evo right up until the finish, as you can see as well. They take away 8th place overall, just missing out on the B13 class podium positions in the process. And speaking of that B13 class, it would all be changed there too. Russ Thompson and Jane Nichols slipping down a little in the class to take 3rd, ending the rally 7th place overall. There'd be some frustrating problems for Gary Pearson and Niall Burns as well, meaning that the lead that they'd held was no longer theirs. They get held up in stage 5 in the dust, but mechanical issues on the final stage would be the straw that broke the camel's back, enough to drop them down to 6th place in the Gold Star this weekend, meaning they also drop to 2nd in the championship standings after this round. For Richard Hill and Pat Cooper, things would change in the class as well, dropping down to 2nd in the class at the end of the event. Still a strong result, taking 5th place overall as well in the B13 Evo. That victory, which looked so potentially theirs, was not to be for Ian Bainbridge and Will Atkins this weekend. They lose some time through the afternoon stages, ending the rally with 4th. It wasn't what they wanted, nor what they came here for. Was it what they would have taken at the beginning of the event? That's anyone's guess, but a finish keeps them in the podium positions in the championship leaderboard. We're on to those podium places then on the event, and it would be a very strong 3rd place overall for Tom Llewellyn and Ross Whittock. After not scoring on the previous round, this would be a welcome result for the pair. And we'd see a repeat result this weekend for George Lepley and Tom Woodburn. Once again taking 2nd place overall, adding some great points to the total and putting them in the lead of the championship after this round with just 2 rallies to go. But taking what was in the end a dominant victory this weekend would be Callum Black and Jack Morton. A couple of non-finishes in the championship season meant that their tally wasn't looking that great, but this victory proves that they have the pace to be fighting at the top when everything goes to plan with the oily bits. We've reached the end of round 4 then. How good is it to be back out rallying full here in the BTRDA? Here are the results at the top of the Gold Star on the Trackrod Rally. Next up, the crews take on the iconic World Rally Championship stages of the Cambrian Rally. And with a mix of old and new stages added to the roster, it will be another great battle and another great spectacle for the BTRDA Rally Series in Wales.